The Game of Life and How to Play It. Florence Scovel Shinn. Chapter 1. The Game. Most people regard life as a battle, but it is not a battle, it is a game. It is a game, however, that cannot be played successfully without the knowledge of spiritual law, and the Old and New Testaments give the rules of the game with wonderful clarity. Jesus Christ taught that it was a great game of give and take. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This means that whatever a man sends out in word or deed will come back to him. Whatever he gives, he will receive. If he gives hatred, he will receive hatred. If he gives love, he will receive love. If he gives criticism, he will receive criticism. If he lies, he will be lied to. If he deceives, he will be deceived. We are taught also that the faculty of imagination plays a major role in the game of life. Keep thy heart, or imagination, with all diligence, for out of it proceed the issues of life. This means that what a man imagines he sooner or later externally sees in his affairs. I know of a man who feared a certain disease. It was a very rare and difficult disease to contract, but he imagined it continually and read about it until it manifested itself in his body, and he died, a victim of distorted imagination. So we see, to successfully play the game of life, we must train the faculty of imagination. A person with an imaginative faculty trained to imagine only the good brings into his life every righteous desire of his heart: health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, his highest ideals. Imagination has been called the scissors of the mind, and it is always cutting day by day the images that man sees there, and sooner or later he meets his own creations in his outer world. To train the imagination successfully, man must understand the workings of his mind. The Greeks said, "Know thyself." There are three departments of the mind: the subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious. The subconscious is simply power, without direction. It is like steam or electricity, and does what it is directed to do. It has no power of induction. Whatever a man feels deeply or imagines clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and is carried out in the minutest detail. For example, a woman I know, when she was a child, always made believe she was a widow. She dressed in black clothes and wore a long black veil, and people thought she was very smart and funny. She grew up and married a man with whom she was deeply in love. Soon after, he died, and she wore black and a wide veil for many years. The image of herself as a widow was imprinted on the subconscious mind, and in due course resolved itself, despite the havoc created. The conscious mind has been called the mortal or carnal mind. It is the human mind and sees life as it appears to be. It sees death, disaster, disease, poverty, and limitations of all kinds, and impresses the subconscious. The superconscious mind is the mind of God within every man, and is the realm of perfect ideas. In it is found the perfect pattern spoken of by Plato, the divine design, for there is a divine design for each person. There is a place you must fill that no one else can fill, something you must do that no one else can do. There is a perfect picture of this in the superconscious mind. It usually passes through the conscious as an unattainable ideal, something too good to be true. In reality, it is the true destiny of man, shown to him from the infinite intelligence within him. Many people, however, ignore their true destiny and strive to achieve things and situations which do not belong to them, and which, if achieved, would only bring them failure and dissatisfaction. For example, a woman came to see me and asked me to say the word that she would marry a certain man she was very much in love with. She called him A.B. I replied that this would be a violation of spiritual law, but that I would speak the word for the right man, the divine selection, the man who belonged to her by divine right. I added, "If A.B. is the right man, you cannot lose him, and if he is not, you will receive his equivalent." She saw A.B. frequently, but made no progress in their friendship. One night she called me and said, "You know, for the past week, A.B. hasn't seemed so wonderful to me." I replied, "Maybe he is not the divine selection. Another man may be the right one." Shortly thereafter, she met another man who fell in love with her instantly, and who said he was her ideal. In fact, he told her all the things she had always wished A had told her. B, she remarked, it was rather strange. She soon reciprocated his love and lost all interest in AB. This demonstrates the law of substitution. A right idea was substituted for a wrong one, so there was no loss and no sacrifice. Jesus Christ said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." And he said that the kingdom was within man. The kingdom is the realm of right ideas, or the divine pattern. Jesus Christ taught that man's words played a major role in the game of life. By your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. Many people have brought disaster into their lives by idle words. For example, a woman once asked me why her life was now a poverty of limitations. She used to have a house, was surrounded by beautiful things, and had plenty of money. We discovered that she had often grown tired of the management of her house and had repeatedly said, "I am sick of things. I wish I lived in a trunk." And she added, "Today I am living in that trunk." She had put herself in a trunk. The subconscious mind has no sense of humor, and people often joke about their unhappy experiences. For example, a woman who had a lot of money continually joked about getting ready for the poorhouse. In a few years she was almost destitute, having impressed the subconscious mind with an image of lack and limitation. Fortunately, the law works both ways, and a situation of lack can be changed to one of abundance. For example, a woman came to me one hot summer day for a prosperity treatment. She was exhausted, dejected, and discouraged. She said she had only $8 in the world. I said, "Well, we will bless the $8 and multiply it as Jesus Christ multiplied the loaves and fishes, for he taught that every man had the power to bless and multiply, to heal and prosper." She said, "What shall I do now?" I replied, "Follow the intuition. Do you have a hunch to do something or to go somewhere? Intuition means intuition, or being taught from within. It is man's infallible guide, and I will deal more fully with its laws in a following chapter." The woman replied, "I don't know. I seem to have a hunch to go home. I have just enough money for the car ride." Her home was in a distant city and was one of lack and limitation, and the reasoning mind or intellect would have said, "Stay in New York and get a job and earn some money." I replied, "Then go home. Never violate a hunch." I said the following words to him, "The infinite spirit opens the way of great abundance, for it is an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to it by divine right." I told her to repeat it also continuously. She went home immediately. Calling a woman one day, she connected with an old friend of her family. Through this friend, she received thousands of dollars in the most miraculous way. She has often told me, "Tell people about the woman who came to you with $8 and a hunch." There is always abundance in the way of man, but it can only be brought into manifestation through desire, faith, or the spoken word. Jesus Christ made it manifest that man must take the first step. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. In the scriptures we read, "As for the works of my hands, command ye me." The infinite intelligence God is always ready to carry out the smallest or the greatest demands of man. Every desire, expressed or unexpressed, is a demand. We are often startled to see a desire suddenly fulfilled. For example, one Easter, having seen many beautiful rose bushes in the windows of the flower shops, I wished to receive one, and for an instant I saw it being carried mentally to the door. Easter came, and with it a beautiful rose bush. The next day I thanked my friend and told her it was just what I wanted. She replied, "I didn't send you a rose bush, I sent you lilies." The man had mixed up the order and sent me a rose bush simply because I had set the law in motion, and I had to have a rose bush. Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and all the desires of his heart, but doubt and fear. When man can desire without worry, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. In a following chapter, I will explain in more detail the scientific reason for this and how fear must be erased from consciousness. It is the only enemy of man, the fear of lack, the fear of failure, the fear of disease, the fear of loss, and the feeling of insecurity on some plane. Jesus Christ said, "Why are you afraid, O ye of little faith?" So we can see that we must replace fear with faith, because fear is only an inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of good. The object of the game of life is to see clearly one's own good and to erase all mental images of evil. This must be done by impressing the subconscious mind with the realization of good. A very brilliant man, who has achieved great success, told me that he had suddenly erased all fear from his consciousness by reading a poster hanging in a room. He saw printed in large letters this statement, "Why worry? It will probably never happen." These words were indelibly engraved in his subconscious, and now he has the firm conviction that only good can come into his life. Therefore, only good can manifest itself. In the next chapter, I will deal with the different methods of impressing the subconscious mind. It is the faithful servant of man, but care must be taken to give it the right orders. Man has always a silent listener at his side, his subconscious mind. Every thought, every word is impressed upon it and carried out in astonishing detail. He is like a singer recording on the sensitive disc of the phonograph plate. Every note and pitch of the singer's voice is recorded. If he coughs or hesitates, it is also recorded. So let us break all the old and bad records in the subconscious mind, the records of our lives that we do not wish to keep, and make new and beautiful ones. Say these words aloud, with power and conviction. I now crush and demolish, with my word, every false record in my subconscious mind. They will return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my records perfect through the Christ within, the records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. This is the square of life, the completed game. In the following chapters, I will show how man can change his conditions by changing his words. Any man who does not know the power of the word is backward. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.